I picture for a moment that all the challenges you face, every worry and doubt, is not simply something to get through, but rather a guide directing you to your true calling. Consider this. What if the secret to comprehending your identity and your destined path is found within the aspects of yourself that you've attempted to overlook, suppress, or deny? Today, we will investigate one of the most impactful ideas in psychology and philosophy, Carl Jung's concept of the shadow. This discussion goes beyond mere theory or abstract concepts. It revolves around revealing significant truths that have the power to transform your life. By the conclusion of this exploration, you will not only gain insight into your shadow, but also unveil how it conceals the key to your purpose, potential, and liberation. The final insight we will discover might be the most transformative and impactful of all. Carl Jung, a key figure in depth psychology, suggested that the shadow represents the unconscious aspects of ourselves that we reject or disown. It comprises all the qualities, wants, and elements of our personality that we find unacceptable or shameful. Ironically, this very shadow holds the potential for our greatest strengths and the framework for a satisfying life. Think about it. How frequently do we shy away from certain thoughts or actions because they make us feel uneasy? How often do we criticize others for qualities we secretly see in ourselves? If you've ever reacted intensely to someone else's behavior, there's a strong possibility that it's because they have resonated with a part of your own shadow. Jung noted that everything that bothers us about others can help us learn about ourselves. The shadow is not merely about negativity, it's about possibility. It deals with the energy we suppress out of fear or shame. Take a moment to think about your own life. Are there aspects of yourself you attempt to keep concealed from others, or even from yourself? It might be a fear of failing, a deeply rooted anger, or ongoing jealousy. Perhaps it's a passion or aspiration you've told yourself is unrealistic or wrong. What if these sides of yourself weren't imperfections to eliminate, but insights waiting to be recognized? Carl Jung proposed that by facing our shadow, we can assimilate it into our conscious understanding, leading to what he called individuation, a journey toward becoming whole. This process is challenging. It demands bravery, sincerity, and a readiness to embrace uncertainty, but the benefits are boundless. Jung characterized individuation as the path to discovering your true self, not just the facade you present to the world, but the entire and genuine self that encompasses both light and shadow. He maintained that our most significant growth arises not from dismissing our shadow, but from accepting it. Consider this. Each mythical hero encounters a defining moment when they confront their own inner turmoil. Take the example of Hercules, the Greek hero, who battled not just outside creatures, but also wrestled with his own anger and shortcomings. Similarly, Luke Skywalker in Star Wars had to face the darkness within him to truly become a Jedi. These narratives reflect our personal mental journeys. So the question is, are you prepared to make that initial move? Are you set to examine the aspects of yourself that you've been avoiding and ask, what lessons are you trying to impart? Jung's teachings remind us that our shadow is not an adversary, but rather a compass. It communicates with us through our dreams, fears, and even our connections with others. Have you ever experienced a repeating dream or felt an unexplainable attraction to a certain idea or individual? These might be indicators of your shadow attempting to reach out. Engaging with your shadow begins with becoming aware. Notice the feelings and reactions that seem outsized or overwhelming. Often, these serve as hints toward the parts of yourself that you've concealed. After recognizing these qualities, the next phase is to accept them. This does not imply acting on every impulse or satisfying every wish. It is about acknowledging these facets of yourself without criticism and grasping their significance in your life. Imagine the freedom in no longer fearing your imperfections, but seeing them as opportunities for development. Consider how much more genuine and assured you could become by welcoming your entire self. In the upcoming sections, we will explore how to recognize and incorporate your shadow. We will reveal actionable steps to transform what feels like darkness into light, and examine how this integration can guide you toward your life's mission. Also remember that the most significant revelations are still ahead. Stay with us because by the end of this exploration, you'll possess a guide not only for understanding your shadow, but for utilizing it to navigate your destiny. Let's continue this journey into the depths of your inner self and discover the incredible possibilities that reside within you. Now let's further explore the enigmatic realm of the shadow and uncover how recognizing this concealed aspect of yourself can not only reveal your purpose, but also provide a deep sense of inner tranquility. The shadow shows up in various forms. It can manifest in our behaviors, our relationships, and especially in the way we respond. Have you ever had an emotional reaction and later questioned why you reacted so intensely? Those instances where feelings seem to overpower logic are often moments when your shadow is making its presence known. But what gives the shadow such influence over us? Jung suggested that its power arises from being part of our unconscious mind. The more we reject or hide certain aspects of who we are, the more authority they take on. It's akin to trying to keep a beach ball submerged underwater. The harder you try to keep it down, the more forcefully it pops back up when you can no longer hold it beneath the surface. Now consider this. If you could bring that repressed part into the light and comprehend its roots, how much greater control would you feel over your life? How much freer would you be? A particularly striking illustration of shadow work is the concept of projection. Jung posited that when we reject parts of ourselves, we tend to recognize those same traits in others, magnifying our reactions toward them. For example, if you grapple with feelings of inadequacy, you might find yourself criticizing those who appear overly confident or dismissing individuals who excel in areas where you feel insecure. This isn't merely a psychological oddity. It acts as a mirror, reflecting back to us the aspects of ourselves that we have yet to accept. Jung articulated that understanding your own darkness is the most effective way to manage the darkness in others. Take a moment to consider, is there someone in your life who provokes a strong emotional reaction? It could be a coworker, a friend, or even a family member. Rather than concentrating on their actions, ponder this. What does my reaction indicate about me? Which part of my shadow am I projecting onto them? This isn't about assigning blame to yourself. It's about engaging in self-exploration. Each projection presents a chance to reclaim an element of yourself and bring it into conscious awareness. Let's delve deeper into how the shadow connects to our sense of purpose. Frequently, the aspects we suppress are closely related to our unique talents and passions. For instance, someone who stifles their creativity due to fear of failure might discover that embracing this hidden part leads them to their true calling. Jung believed that purpose isn't discovered externally. It's revealed from within us. It involves aligning with our genuine selves, which encompasses both our strengths and our shadows. In his words, the ultimate privilege of life is to become who you truly are. But how do we initiate this journey of alignment? It begins with self-reflection. Pose questions that will challenge your beliefs about your identity. What is my greatest fear regarding myself? What have I been conditioned to believe is unacceptable about me? What aspirations or dreams have I set aside because they seemed impractical or unworthy? Write these thoughts down and reflect on them. You may be astonished by what arises when you allow your shadow to express itself. Another essential resource for shadow work is keeping a journal. Carl Jung maintained detailed diaries to delve into his subconscious. He frequently urged his clients to record their dreams since they provide a direct connection to the unconscious. The shadow often manifests in dreams as a symbol, which can take the form of a person, an animal, or an event. Be mindful of themes or symbols that appear repeatedly and ponder the question, what message could my unconscious mind be sending? Now let's consider the potential for change that comes with shadow integration. Picture an artist who chooses not to incorporate dark hues in their creations. Their artwork may be visually appealing, but it lacks richness and contrast. By accepting our shadow, we become like a painter who utilizes the entire range of colors, both light and dark, to craft a masterpiece. Integration does not involve giving in to every dark urge or allowing the shadow to control your life. Rather, it entails acknowledging and embracing these elements as integral parts of being human. This acceptance nurtures empathy, not only for yourself but also for others. You start to realize that everyone possesses a shadow, and this commonality binds us on a deep level. The path to accepting your shadow is not a singular event. It is an ongoing journey. It demands patience, bravery, and a dedication to personal development, but the benefits are significant. You achieve a clearer understanding of your purpose, a more profound sense of inner tranquility, and the capacity to live genuinely. Furthermore, here's an important point. Your purpose is not solely focused on yourself. Jung posited that our individuation adds to the collective unconscious, which encompasses the shared experiences of humanity. When you face your shadow and become aligned with your authentic self, you not only change your life, but also inspire and uplift those around you. In the following section, we will look into practical ways to incorporate your shadow into your everyday existence. We will examine how accepting this concealed aspect can lead to healthier connections, enhanced creativity, and a life that truly reflects who you are. The most significant insights lie ahead. Stay with us as we reveal the ultimate truth about your shadow and its role in shaping your fate. As we delve deeper into the teachings of Jungian philosophy, let's concentrate on how to implement the lessons of shadow work in our daily lives. Gaining an understanding of your shadow is a strong beginning, but genuine change occurs through integration. This serves as the link between awareness and action, where you start to incorporate your hidden qualities into your overall identity. A fundamental step in this journey involves practicing unwavering self-honesty. This means examining yourself without any filters or justifications. It takes courage to acknowledge feelings like jealousy or to admit that you sometimes judge others harshly. However, the crucial point is that self-honesty is about being aware, not about casting judgment. Consider it akin to tidying up a disordered room. You cannot sort or utilize the space effectively until you first recognize the clutter. In the same manner that you cannot embrace your shadow until you acknowledge it exists, a practical approach to starting this practice is to focus on your emotional triggers. The next time you experience a strong response, such as anger, fear, or even intense admiration, take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What does this situation reveal about me? Am I projecting a certain aspect of myself onto this individual or circumstance? For instance, if you feel annoyed by someone who exhibits a lot of confidence, think about whether this annoyance might originate from your own insecurities, or if their self-assurance reminds you of qualities you have chosen to downplay in yourself. This reflective process can be uncomfortable initially. It's easy to fall back into blame or defensiveness, but keep in mind that the objective is not to judge yourself, but to gain a deeper understanding of who you are. Each trigger opens up a path to greater self-awareness. After recognizing elements of your shadow, the subsequent step is to engage in dialogue. Jung frequently urged his clients to interact with their shadow as though it were an independent being. While this may seem strange, it serves as a means to externalize and comprehend these concealed aspects. Picture having a conversation with your shadow and posing questions to it. Why do you feel this way? What are you attempting to protect me from? What do you need from me to feel recognized? This conversation can take place through writing, meditation, or visualization. The objective is to establish an environment where your shadow feels acknowledged and listened to. Keep in mind, your shadow is not your adversary. It is a part of you that has been trying, albeit imperfectly, to safeguard or guide you. For many individuals, this journey uncovers unexpected insights. You might realize that a fear you have held for a significant time originates from an event in your childhood, or that a characteristic you've suppressed is actually a strength ready to be expressed. Now let's delve into how this integration affects your relationships. The shadow impacts not only your internal experience, but also how you connect with others. Often, unresolved elements of your shadow appear as conflict or stress in relationships. Have you found yourself repeatedly confronting someone about the same issue? Or perhaps you've observed recurring themes in your relationships, such as consistently attracting a similar type of partner or encountering alike obstacles. These recurring patterns can provide clues to unresolved shadow issues. Jung posited that relationships serve as mirrors, reflecting our unconscious back to us. When you feel triggered by someone, it's often because they showcase a characteristic or behavior that resonates with your shadow. By recognizing this interplay, you can turn conflict into personal growth rather than casting blame or harboring resentment towards the other person. Ask yourself, what lessons is this situation offering me about myself? This change in viewpoint not only enhances your self-awareness, but also nurtures empathy and understanding. Let's expand on this concept. In what ways can embracing your shadow bolster your creativity and sense of purpose? Jung believed that the shadow is not merely a repository for undesirable traits. It is also a reservoir of unrealized potential. The energy you dedicate to suppressing your shadow can be redirected into creative endeavors. For instance, repressed anger could transform into motivation for advocacy or societal change. A concealed urge for recognition might inspire artistic creation or public speaking. When you incorporate your shadow, you reclaim the energy that was previously focused on concealing it, permitting you to direct it towards ventures that resonate with your true self. Consider some of history's greatest artists, writers, and leaders. Their creations often demonstrate a profound connection with their own shadows. Frida Kahlo's artwork, for example, is saturated with genuine emotion and unwavering honesty about suffering and identity. Martin Luther King Jr. harnessed his frustration with injustice into a movement that changed the course of history. Jung regarded creativity as a route to personal development. He maintained that participating in creative endeavors, whether through artistic expression, writing, or problem-solving, helps us tap into aspects of our subconscious, including our shadow self. Now think about your own existence. Are there hobbies or goals you've abandoned because they seemed too risky or exposed? What if these pursuits represented genuine parts of you that are waiting to surface as you work on acknowledging your shadow? You will likely experience a change. The characteristics and emotions that once felt daunting or embarrassing can transform into sources of strength and insight. You will discover a life filled with more authenticity, confidence, and purpose. In the upcoming final section, we will unveil the ultimate reality regarding your shadow and how accepting it can lead to deep personal change, not only for you but also for those around you. Stay with us as we reveal the last and most significant understanding that will connect all the concepts and clarify the way to your greatest potential. As we reach the end of this journey, let us pause to consider the importance of what we have learned. The shadow, this hidden and often dreaded aspect of who we are, is not something to endure, but rather a treasure waiting to be discovered. It contains the essence of our authenticity, creativity, and our true purpose. But what does it truly mean to accept your shadow? And how can this process of integration change not only your inner experience, but also your approach to life in general? To explore these questions, we need to face a reality that Jung highlighted. We cannot attain completeness by rejecting any parts of ourselves. Completeness arises from unity, harmonizing all aspects of our existence. Jung famously remarked that enlightenment is not achieved by envisioning bright figures, but by bringing the darkness into awareness. This encapsulates the core of shadow work, not denying our darker side but recognizing it, owning it, and allowing it to drive our personal growth. So how can we bring this darkness to light? A meaningful approach is through acts of vulnerability. By openly expressing your fears, insecurities, and imperfections, you diminish their power over you. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It is a form of strength. It is the readiness to state, "This is who I am, and I am enough." Reflect on the connections in your life. How often do we hide behind facades, revealing only the sides of ourselves we believe others will accept? Although this behavior is understandable, it builds a wall between us and genuine connection. When you embrace your shadow, you grant yourself the freedom to present your true self, allowing others to see and appreciate you for who you are. This type of authenticity is compelling. It attracts people, fosters trust, and encourages richer, more meaningful relationships. Furthermore, it extends beyond personal interactions. It concerns the influence you can exert on the world. When you integrate your shadow, you cease the internal conflict. This inner tranquility spreads outward, affecting your responses to obstacles, chances, and even your sense of purpose. You evolve into someone who functions from a state of completeness instead of disarray. Let's examine purpose from this perspective. Numerous individuals dedicate their lives to finding meaning, thinking it is something outside themselves to uncover. However, Jung informs us that purpose comes from within. It naturally emerges when you connect with your authentic self, including the shadow. Consider this: your purpose is not solely defined by your actions. It reflects your identity. It is the distinct mix of your abilities, interests, and challenges that defines how you impact the world around you. The shadow plays a crucial role in this aspect. It is not merely an obstacle to your purpose. Rather, it serves as a mentor. For instance, someone who has dealt with feelings of inadequacy might discover their mission in helping others appreciate their self-worth. A person who has experienced anger or frustration may direct that drive toward establishing systems for justice or advocacy. Your pain can turn into insight. Now let's explore the most significant realization of all. Jung argued that merging with the shadow not only changes the individual, but could also lead to a transformation in humanity. Why is that? Because facing your own darkness allows you to become more kind, understanding, and empathetic. You begin to see that the challenges you've encountered are not exclusive to you. They are part of a common human journey. Envision a world where individuals accept their shadows instead of projecting their anxieties and uncertainties onto others. They would acknowledge them, heal from them, and learn from them. Disputes would lessen, understanding would enhance, and humanity would progress toward mutual enlightenment. This represents the genuine strength of shadow work. It transcends mere self-improvement. It involves aiding in the creation of a more aware, interconnected, and compassionate society. As we wind down, I present you with a challenge. Delve into your inner self, not just the aspects you take pride in, but also the parts you tend to conceal. Pose the questions: what lessons is my shadow imparting? How can I apply these insights to live more genuinely? What actions can I initiate today to start this process of integration? Keep in mind, this is not a one-off endeavor. It is a lifelong pursuit, yet every step you take brings you nearer to the individual you are meant to be, one of depth, purpose, and completeness. As we conclude, I welcome you to share your thoughts, reflections, and inquiries. What has this inquiry into the shadow uncovered for you? What insights resonate with you? Your reflections may motivate others to embark on their own journeys. This is not the conclusion. It marks the beginning of a new chapter, where you acknowledge all facets of your being and boldly step into the life you were created to lead. Thank you for being part of this journey. May you discover bravery, insight, and tranquility as you continue to delve into the intricacies of your existence. Thank you for your attention.